Hi, railroad fans. My name is Roberto Pinay Casanova. Welcome to Melville, my O-gauge layout. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a coal dumper. It's a brand new and I just recently installed it in my layout. The coal dumper is made by Millhouse Studios, which is located in Niagara Falls in New York. The reason I bought it and I got it is because I have a turntable made by them. That's what they were famous for. They produce turntables and transfer tables for O-gauge mostly, although they have different gauges also. I bought a 34-inch turntable initially when I installed my O-gauge layout, and the quality, and I'm very surprised that of the quality. Is very high quality, works very well, and I knew how well they do and manufacture these items. And about a year ago at the York meeting, they announced the new coal dumper, and because of I knew the quality and I wanted to have a coal dumper on my layout, I bought theirs, and I got it fairly recently. And I had a previous video that I did when it came in. I show it to do how the electronics and how it comes out of the box. And today, after I install it on my layout, I would like to show you the functionality and how it looks like, and how it works. I'm very happy with it. One thing that I wanted to let you know, I'm not getting paid to do this. I pay full price for the turntable, and I pay full price for the coal dumper. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so what I'm telling you about it is out of what I really think about it and my experience with it. In the real world, just to give you a little bit of background on the coal dumpers, in the real world, the way it works is that at the mines where the coal is being extracted from the mines, then it's processed and then is put on coal cars, and then transported via trains to the power plants, which is the main users of coal in the United States. And they use the coal to produce heat, and that produce energy, and they produce the electrical energy that we use in our houses and everywhere. So usually it comes from the coal mines on trains, go to where the plants are, the electrical plants. And at the electrical plants, they have it's a rotary coal dumper. They call it the coal dumpers. The cars go by one, and then the coal dumpers rotate and dump the coal underneath the coal dumpers. And then by conveyors, the conveyors delivers the coal to the plant, to the power plant, and that's how it's transported and delivered to the power plants. So that's in the real world. In my layout, I try to recreate that, and I have a coal camp on the other side of the track, or the layout, I'm sorry. And then over there, the cars are loaded with coal and then transported to right here where the coal dumper is. The coal dumper in my layout is on a spur out of the main track. So it comes out of the main track. As you can see back there, there is the exit from the main track, and it comes in a spur on a section of track that delivers the cars to the coal dumper, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And the coal dumper dumps the loaded coal cars underneath the track. And theoretically, it's, that's not, it doesn't really happen, but by conveyors is taken to the power plant, which is right here. So I have the coal dumper and then next to it is my power plant. The power plant building is a Menards power plant. It's an amazing building too. It looks beautiful, and so I kind of have it co-located in the track. A couple of things about the installation of the coal dumper. The coal dumper really is not meant to be on a main track where you have traffic going back and forth on the main track. The reason for that is the size of the coal dumper inside. Even though the track, it can be electrified with track power, it is very limited as to the size of the engines that can go across the coal dumper. I knew that because I had the same issue with the Lionel coal Tipple, or the coal dumper from Lionel, when I initially got it years ago, and I had a lot of issues and problems with it, and that's the reason I ended up buying this new one. But I knew that it was a limitation as to the size of the engines that you can get through it. So if you are planning to put this coal dumper on your track, do not, or at least try not to put it on your main track, because you're going to be very limited as to what kind of engines go through it. I have a down here. You'll see it in a minute a little bit more carefully. It is a JP30s, which I think they're Lionel engines, and I think they're kind of fairly small, and they do not go through because they get stuck on the coal dumper. Only the cars, the coal cars, are really meant to be the one going across. So that's one issue that you might want to consider, is not to put your coal dumper on the main tracks where you have regular traffic. It should be dedicated to the coal operation only. There is another issue that I had during the installation, is that on the instructions they give you the precise size of the hole where the coal dumper is going to be located at, and you create a hole. I have the top of my layout is made out of 3/8 inches of wood, and when I cut it exactly as the instruction says, the electronics of the coal dumper that are underneath the table, the instruction says to put those first in a kind of angle way, and then rotate in order to accommodate it to the hole. Well, when you try to do that, or at least on mine, the electronics hit the wood on the top, and it will not let me rotate it. So I ended up having to cut a larger piece, so about 1/2 inch more from what the instruction says, in order to be able to rotate it and get it in place. So those are the couple issues that I had. Now it's installed and it works perfectly fine, and I'm going to go ahead and change the camera setting and then show you the operations of the coal dumper. Okay, so this is the coal dumper over here. It is installed on the layout and on the cut out piece of area that it goes. Over here is the building, or you can see only a portion of the building of the electrical power plant. So this is where the coal is being delivered by cars, and then it rotates and dumps the coal underneath. And now I'm going to demonstrate the coal dumper, how it works. One thing before I do that, I'm going to show you that these cars are special cars. These are the Lionel coal cars that came designed for the Lionel coal Tipple, and the special part is that the couplers rotate, and they're unique because they rotate and allows the cars to rotate when they're still attached to each other, and when the coal dumper starts rotating, the car stays in place, and then the couplers rotate, and that's how it works. So now I'm going to give you a demonstration. This is a train that is going to come in. I have a JP30 engine that I'm going to start and move. Right now, as you can see, the LED is off, and it's because this car is blocking the signal. Once I move it in and put it in position, it will turn on again. So the loaded, and you see it is on. It's a tiny little bit off, but that will be okay. That is a visitor. She likes to come in. That's Nova. So now it's ready. The signal is in green. So all I need to do at this point is press the button over here. The clamps pick up the car, start rotating. As you can see, this one is attached to that one, and the couplers rotate, and it do not disturb the rest of the train. If you do not have cars like that, it doesn't mean it doesn't work, but you're going to have to separate them in order to do their rotational part. And as you can see, the coal is being dumped. It's being collected by the plastic bin. And then at the end of the cycle, it returns back on its own. You don't have to do anything. It will continue returning once it finished dumping all the coal. And at the end of the cycle, it releases the clamp. The car is free to move on, and then you move to the next. And that's how it works. So now that I have the car in place, the green light is on. So we're going to do it again and do the turn. I press the actuator here. The clamps hold the car in place, and it starts rotating. The unit doesn't come with something to collect the coal from the car underneath. So there is just an open area, and I have a plastic container, large plastic container, that when it does this rotation, all the coal that is being dumped in there falls into that container down there, so it doesn't fall on the floor. There is no, it's an open area, and actually the reason it is a good thing because it doesn't limit the size of the coal or how much coal you want to put through it. So that allows no limitations into that respect, but then you have to come up with a way to collect the coal when it's dumped into that the container down there. Otherwise it will fall into the floor. A couple of things is that obviously the track that comes from the main track, has track power. Excuse me. The unit itself has connections for track power. It is very well labeled. There is a positive and negative cables that goes in there, and that was the end of the process. So the cables, I have them connected to track power, and then I have track power on the other portion of it here. It is important that if you're planning to do that and you're planning to use to run trains across the coal dumper, that all three powers come from the same source. It is complicated, and there's no it's another video, and it's kind of complicated on why it has to be done that way. It's either the power that comes to the tracks have to be in phase, which is a term, and it's complicated to explain why is it that. But the simplest way to solve that solution, to solve the problem, because otherwise you will have a lot of problems with electrical sparks and shutting down and everything. The best thing to do is to have the same power on all three sections. Like I said before, because of the limitation of size of the engines that you can get across through it, it's kind of like limited. So I'm not sure in my case, because this is a spur, and the spur can only be used for the coal. I don't plan to get engines to go across the coal dumper. One is I have a lot of large engines that will not fit through it, and I have maybe one or two engines that are small enough that will go across, and they are not the type that would use for the coal operations. So I would not want to do that. But if you're planning to put your coal dumper in a main track, you need to take that in consideration. As you can probably see, I'm using fast track tracks in my layout, and I continue to use it over here. You can use basically other kinds of tracks, but in my case I use fast track, and I continue to using fast track. The space over here on this area where the track connects to the track on the coal dumper, it is not wide enough for the fast track, because as you can see, the fast track has these borders. So I had to cut pieces on both sides, and pieces on both sides over here. I'm using 5-inch transitional tracks, which have the flat ends on each side. I took the pins out because it comes with pins on each side. Took the pins out so the track ends in a straight way and connects to the track on the coal dumper, and that's how it's connected. It's very easy. It can be aligned very easy, and it's not that difficult to do if you're planning to get one of this. Like I said, this is pure metal, with the exception of the clamps that holds the cars in place. The rest is completely metal. It is very strong, very durable. It is very well constructed. It works perfectly fine, as you can see. I did a couple of cars and emptied them, and I'm really happy with it, and I'm enjoying the process. Hopefully you might want to buy one or get one installed in your layout. So this is it for now. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll see you soon.